Okay, so I have this bouncing ball in my shot, and one of the first things I want to do is make sure that my Maya preferences, so under Maya preferences, everything is set to the way I want it to. So if I click File, Projects, make sure our File dialog box is set to OS Native, and on my time slider, I want to make sure the playback speed is set to play every frame, and then max playback speed is set to real time 24 frames per second. If I do not have it set to real time 24 frames per second, then what's going to happen is when I play my animation and my time slider, you're going to notice that it goes extremely fast. So to demonstrate that, I'm just going to set a key, 24 frames, which is 1 second. I'm going to move it from the left side of my screen to the right side. So as soon as I press S, you're going to notice that the speed is extremely fast. Now this can cause lots of issues, especially when we're trying to establish the timing of our animated ball as it compares to our reference video. If I go to Windows and Play Blast option box, keep the settings the way they are, and click Apply or Play Blast, you're going to notice that a little box pops up here and it has my animation, but the timing is actually much more accurate. So the question is, why is this accurate and the animation in my window not accurate? It's because under our Maya preferences, we need to click on our time slider and tell the max playback speed to not be free but to be 24 frames per second, since that's the unit that we calculate timing. So I click Save, and you're going to notice that now this is exactly what I want. Okay, so you have the squash and stretch. All right, so actually I'm going to turn off the selection of the ball because I don't want to accidentally select the ball and then move it from these points here, from these locator handles. So if I click on this icon here, it allows me to not select the geometry but select the position of the ball, which is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to double click on my time slider because I've already set keys on there. Right mouse click and go to delete keys. So now I have all my animation deleted. And I'm using Sandro's, his animation chart. Often I'm going to press 4 and 5. So 4 is a wireframe and 5 allows me to see it in shaded mode. And this is going to allow me to count the number of units or squares to place my first position. So on this particular plotting chart, it tells me that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines in the y-axis. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so let me erase that. And actually I should have just kept that there. Alright. So let's move this guy up. I'll press 5. Okay. And I'll erase that. So this is going to be my first position, my first storytelling position. Alright. And I'm going to select the press S on my keyboard, and that allows me to set a key. And you can see on the right side of my channel box editor in Maya 2017, it just highlights these keys there, the translate, rotate, and scale. Alright, so this is my first key. I'm going to go to frame 27, and I'm going to go over 2 units, so 1, 2. So I'll go over 2 units, 1, 2. And I'll change the translate Y to 0 because that is actually my floor. And I'll press S. So we have this animation. Right? Right now it's really slow. So what I'm going to do is probably change the position of this ball to be a little bit higher. Just for timing. And then later I can work on the ease outs. All right, so right now it's really slow. We're not really focusing on the timing just yet. Although from our reference videos, the timing is kind of built into our planning, meaning exactly where this ball hits the ground and goes in the air is our timing. Okay, so the next position is over 2 and up 6. So let's go ahead and use a grease pencil so you can see what I'm talking about. It's over 1, 2, and it's up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so that means at frame 34, this is where I need to move the ball. Press S. And then at frame 43, it's over, so I'll click on frame 43. And then it's over 1, 2, 3 units. So it's over 1, 2, 3, and it's on the ground. So I'll select this object here. And you can see I'm not even focusing on any squash and stretch. Okay. Select the middle control here, as you can see. Let me erase that. And I'm going to press S on the keyboard. I'll go back to frame 27 because that's where I have my grease pencil mark. You can see it's like that light blue line here. Okay. So I'm putting those grease pencil marks on the screen so you guys can see how I'm counting those units. So I have a key position at frame 1. Okay. And I'm using the comma and period to see those positions. It's kind of like 2D animation, how they flip through it. Okay. Looks good so far. Alright. Now the next position is going to be at frame 49. So I'll go to frame 49. And it's over 2 up 4. So it's over 2. So 1, 2, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now select the middle locator here and move them up. I'll press S. Next position is at frame 55. That's over 2. So frame 55, it's over 2. And then I'll just change the translate Y. Right here in my channel box editor, I'm just clicking on translate Y, pressing 0, which is the floor of the ball. Right? Let me zoom in a little more. I'll press S. Understand? So frame 55. Frame 60, it's over 1. Frame 60. Oops. It's over 1, then up 2. So 1, 2. Kind of a unique bounce. Press S. And then at frame 67, it's over 2. So 67. It's over 2. That's a unique bounce. Kind of looking at the grid. Let me click on that, press S. So if I press a comma, I can see all the positions. Alright, looking pretty good. So what we want to do, again, is establish the storytelling positions, where the ball goes up in the air, and we're also establishing the timing. Now in the first phase of blocking, when you're doing any sort of character animation, we're not working on timing right away, right, where those key positions land. Most times you're just working on getting those storytelling positions, and then later you'll take those positions and move them to the exact timing, and then proceed to the overlapping actions and follow through. But so this particular key is at 66, but I think on the sheet of paper it tells me that it needs to be at 67. So if I wanted to move a key position, right, if I wanted to move a key position, there's two ways of doing it. All right. I can hold Shift, left mouse click on that key, let go of Shift, and then left mouse click and drag and move that position over. One. Hold Control and right mouse click, or I can go into Windows, Animation Editors, and I can go into my dope sheet. The dope sheet is a little bit easier to move the keys. I think just depending on your experience and familiarity. So you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can press Command, hold middle mouse button and drag those keys. So it tells me on my dope sheet that this red line is at frame 67. As you see, it corresponds here, so that moves. And if I scroll up, this position, if I hold middle mouse button, I can drag it anywhere along there. So if I go back, it's at frame 66. If I hold middle mouse button, left mouse click and drag, I can bring it forward to frame 67. So I'm happy with it there. Close that. Okay, the next position is over one, up one, and that is, I do believe, at frame 71. So I go to frame 71, and I go over one, up one. Actually, it's up two. All right, I press S to set a key. I don't need my grease pencil anymore. Oh, by the way, the grease pencil is a really cool way to do animation as well. So let me show you how you can animate with the grease pencil. Kind of taking a detour here, but I can do this, and then I'll scrub for it. So you can animate using the grease pencil. See? So sometimes you might want to play around and see what the timing looks like with the grease pencil before you do anything else. Just a different method. Alright, so let's go to my next position at frame 76. So frame 76 is on the floor. Alright, and it's over one. Over one. I'll change the translate Y to 0. Press S key. Next position is at frame 79, and it's over one, up one. So 79. Over one, up one. Press S. At frame 84. Over one, down one. Again, I'm going to go to my translate Y and make sure it's at 0. Press the S key. At frame, so 79, 84, 86, it's up one, so it's losing momentum. And then at frame 90, looks like it goes down. change the translate to 0, and then I'll go to frame 105 and translate the object to the right. Remember, this doesn't have any ease in or ease out just yet, so if I play back this animation, you can see that the first part of it is really slow. So there's a few things that we can do. All right. I could select that ball. I could either move its position higher, or I can shorten the key positions between frame 27 and 102 and bring them back to the left. So I'll go into my Windows, Animation Editors, Dope Sheet. I'll zoom out, and this is my frame 1, this is my frame 27. So I want to take everything after frame 27, hold middle mouse button, and drag it to the left. Just a few keyframes. Let's go right there. So now, if I press play, the speed is a little bit faster. It feels more natural to me. Okay? Now you're probably wondering, like, alright, it looks okay, but there's this really weird swooping action here. If you looked at any sheet of paper that has a reference to the way a ball bounces, or if you studied, just the way a ball bounces, you notice that the arc of the ball is like this, and then it's linear at the bottom of the arc, and then it rounds up at the top, and then it's linear down here, and then it rounds at the top. But what we're getting is something totally different than that. We are getting this really weird rounding action here. So I'll help you to visualize exactly what I'm talking about. I go to Windows, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Alright, now the Graph Editor shows me visually what's going on here. So since our ball is moving up and down, it's moving in what we call the y-axis. Alright, now I know it's a little difficult to see, so I'll zoom in, and you'll see that I have my Translate X, Y, Z. So I'll click on my Translate Y, and I'll press A in my Graph Editor, and that kind of frames everything. So this is the curve I'm talking about. It kind of gets this really weird arc here. So what I want to do is highlight all of the keys at the bottom of this arc, hold shift. Okay, so I have all these keys selected, and I'm going to click on the linear tangents. I know it's kind of hard to see from here, but let me zoom in even more. Linear tangents. So the moment I click on that, watch what happens to my curve. I get something totally different, right? Something totally different. I get my desired bounce. I'll take this key and I'll move it down just a little bit. Okay. So let me close my Graph Editor, and now when I click play, it looks much closer to what I'm getting. I can actually feel the bounces. Now there's a few things that we need to clean up. We need to clean up the way the ball, rolls out of this scene. Maybe we need to add more frames in between frame 78 and frame 93. And the way that we add more frames so that it looks like it's going slower is, again, go back to our Windows, Animation Editors, Graph Editor, and I want to go to my Dope Sheet. It's actually a little less confusing, I think, for just starting off. Click on my Dope Sheet, and I'll take this last position here, I'll hold middle mouse button and I'll drag it to the right. So it's taking it from the position it was at 93 to 108. Alright. So it's probably about it's about 15 frames. So let's click here and I'll click play. A little slower. Hello. Hey. Oh really? Hey, give me 2 seconds. Alright, so this is the blocking one that you guys will need to accomplish today. Just get all these positions. So I'm going to stop this video.